Think about your oldest memory, preferably one that you remember on your own, not a story you've been told or a picture you've seen. It doesn't have to be the oldest memory chronologically. It could just be what memory comes to mind when I say oldest memory. It could be yesterday. It doesn't really matter. It is best if the memory includes a specific thought or feeling, but doesn't have to. Okay, now describe that memory. What are you doing? Are there people part of it? What is the point of interest? The people present or the activity you are doing? There are 7 possible themes to memories. One of them is where the people are the main point of interest, and the activity, if there is one, is more or less irrelevant. These 7 themes early memories have correlate with personality preferences. The 7 themes are actions and are the result of employing a distinct measurement type. In early memory, where the focus is the people, and where there is little or no emphasis on the activity, is the action or measurement type unification. People with unification measurement type preferences, when recounting memories, often include the full names of the people involved and their emotional and spatial relation to them. For example, the memory would be something to the effect of, "My grandma Mary Jane was sitting next to me, reading me a book and pointing out each word so that I could follow along." Odds are, if you ask several people their earliest memory, you will get at least one that follows that basic theme. Though theoretically, only 1 out of 7 people would have a unification personality theme to their memories. Because the unification personality is more open to talking, it will come up more than 1 in 7 as a theme to memories. Unification people are receptive, good at following up, and synergizing with others. Consequently, these skills are most useful around people, and of all the personality types, they can handle and maintain connections with many people without getting overwhelmed. Other personality preferences shine more in one-on-one interactions or outside of the social sphere completely. Each situation or task can be categorized as one of the 7 resources, and each personality type can handle different amounts of each. The resource might be something that needs to be initiated, deconstructed, expanded, unified, applied, preserved, or transformed. So which resource is public school? Or better, which is it not? Research on our closest genetic counterparts, the chimpanzees, reveals that they are incapable of maintaining more than 200 connections. Once a troop of chimps exceeds 200 members, it inevitably splinters into 2 separate groups. It is unlikely that humans are orders of magnitude more capable. And so what does that say for a school with 1,000 or more students and 100 or more faculty? My research into personality would say that 2 out of the 7 personality types would be fine or even thrive with that many people, but others would have a much more difficult time. With this in mind, what would you guess would happen if you asked students their oldest memories who were having a hard time in public school or merely just opted for online school? I asked 2 classes, 22 7th graders and 26 8th graders. 0% of the students reported that their earliest memory had a focus on the people present rather than the activity itself. The unification personality type sees a relatively greater value or success in making and maintaining connections than other personality types. This doesn't mean that other personality types don't care to make or maintain connections, but is not something that their experience has shown to be the most effective. Theoretically, the best of 7 approaches for a given situation is the one that is ideal for the situation, rather than the one that the person feels most proficient in. However, let's say that in a difficult situation, you phone a friend before you try anything else, and it works out. You're more likely to try that approach first in the next situation. If you don't have experience showing that phoning a friend in a difficult situation is effective, it will likely be the last thing you will try. A school setting where there are potentially volatile relationships that you must face 5 days a week, and several teachers with different biases or insecurities, and pressures from all sides for rigid and blind conformity, it can be just too much for some personality skill sets that are equipped for other situations. Ideally, we all learn how to be proficient with all 7 actions or measurement types, but until that happens, we have certain ones we overuse and others we avoid. This imbalance in proficiency creates some situations where one person has a much harder time than another. Education should be a place where differences in learning styles are taken into account, so that each student can learn as much as possible. That is, if learning rather than conformity is the actual goal. It is not a coincidence that 0% of the 48 students I surveyed prefer actions other than unification, and they shouldn't have to be forced into that environment. With teaching experience in both middle school and high school, I can confidently say that there are many basic and obvious changes that can help all students, but I will focus on differences that are unique based on personality. If their early memory is that they were playing by themselves and what they were doing was interesting. It doesn't matter how old they are, just give them a GRE prep book and a computer and let them do it at their own pace. I'm sure they will be done much sooner than their projected graduation date and naturally move on to college, where they will enjoy it much better. They might have a degree in physics or engineering before their peers even figure out what they want to do for a living. They don't need to be bothered. Their natural scientific ability allows them to accomplish enough by themselves. Social drama is not healthy for anyone, but this personality, because they think so deeply, get very stressed by it, so please don't drag them into it. If their early memory involves danger or accidents, then make sure that expectations are very clear and organized. No pop quizzes, putting them on the spot, or forced group projects. They need to be able to come to class confident they are prepared. If the expectations are unclear, and if the structure is chaotic, you'll be inflicting a tremendous amount of anxiety on them. It is not difficult to lay out the whole calendar semester and what it entails. This personality type will really appreciate you for it. And there's the added benefit for you, that their foresight will help your class go a lot better, with less grammar errors or scheduling conflicts. If their oldest memory is climbing something, stairs, a tree, or anything that helped them get an elevated perspective, then make sure that they are not graded on what is subjective. Don't make them present anything unless they want to, or at least give them options on how to present a project. Because unlike some people that like being the class clown or a guinea pig, people with this personality type really care about the implications of things in the long term and how each thing affects everything else. Likely, they have considered much more than you about possible effects. They often thrive with long-term projects that mean something to them and that they can be proud of. They have a love-hate relationship with due dates because they simultaneously don't like turning something in that is not as good as it could be, but know that it never will and are relieved that a finite time period for a project means it isn't expected to be perfect or final or representative of them. Keep the assignments multiple choice, and if there is writing, make it straightforward or short answer form. They can likely guess exactly what you want them to write due to your bias, but please don't make them have to do that. They could easily write a brilliant thesis by the end of high school, but only if it was something that they were passionate about. If their early memory is that the activity didn't really matter, and what mattered was the people, then please don't make them do homeschool. They might go along with it because they are motivated by harmony and wouldn't want to cause conflict with you, but they need to be around a lot of people on a regular basis and have opportunities to connect with people who think differently than themselves. Being confined to the company of their siblings or the small homeschool group just isn't adequate for them. If their earliest memory was being held and not wanting to be held or trying to hold their ground, then they are eager to get into their career and work. That career could be anything from construction to medicine, but whatever it is, they want to learn valuable hands-on skills and take meaningful steps towards their career. Don't expect them to care about anything you can't directly show real-world value for. They want to get a lot done and feel good about what they have accomplished. If their earliest memory involves some sort of experiment, invention, or any sort of creation, then just give them flexibility to choose. They don't have ADHD, and it will be frustrating to try and force them down some narrow road, so save both of you the trouble and give them flexibility. Minimize the essential or required assignments and provide opportunities to explore different fields of study. If their earliest memory doesn't fit into any one of those other themes and involves maybe something colorful that catches their attention, then you don't have to worry about making decisions for them because you probably don't know it, but they are the ones actually already deciding what happens. I'm kidding. Well, sort of. Initiation measurement type people are quick, confident, and charismatic, and the situation doesn't matter much for them. It's all just a game they are going to win. You shouldn't try to play power struggle games with anyone, especially a child, but definitely not one of these. I say this for your own sake, because they will win. As you try to mess with them, all you are doing is wasting your own time and strengthening their ability to mess with you back. They will probably be a lawyer, business person, or politician anyway, so don't make them a jaded one. The world needs more lawyers, business people, and politicians who still believe in love. Just be clear about the learning targets you want them to know, and don't be offended when they find loopholes. If the teacher isn't smarter than the child they are supposed to be teaching, either the teacher doesn't belong in the classroom or the student doesn't belong in the class. You don't have to be an expert at analyzing memories to know how to accommodate differences in personality. I am sure just reading the accommodations for each, it is quite obvious which each person in your life is. If you are really stumped about which personality type a person is, you can just have them watch this and have them tell you. It is great that there are differences in personality in the world, and it is great that we all have the ability to learn and grow and rely less on our initial strengths. Good luck on your journey to better understand and cooperate with others and integrate yourself. I hope to see you again.